Hi everyone, it's Karen here for Blue Fern Studios with a Mermaid canvas set tutorial using their new Seaside Cottage collection. Enjoy! First, I used the Mermaid paper from the collection, which is perfect for the theme of this canvas. I cut the paper in 6-inch squares to fit the 6x6 shadow box canvas, and then I cut 1.25 inches of the paper so it would fit the sides. Then I used some gloss gel, matte medium, and I glued the papers on each canvas, first the squares, and then I glued each strip on the side of the canvas to cover everything. I did this on both canvases and sealed it with the gel to make sure they stayed on. Once the gel was dry, I used a distress tool to create rough edges around the canvas. Although this is the back of the canvas, I imagine it sitting on some type of mantelpiece, and I wanted it to be decorated on all sides. So what I did is I took some thick gel medium and I mixed it with blue mica powder, and I created a texture, a blue texture that I could add to the background. Then, using a stencil that looked like fish scales, I ran the paste through that in different places to create some texture on the paper. I did this on both canvases, and while the mixture was still wet, I sprinkled some blue ice glitter from Blue Fern Studios. Once the paste was dry, I sprayed some blue ink in the background in 2 different shades to create some more depth and texture to the back of the canvases. Next, I used some light paste and mixed it with a different shade of blue mica powder. I mixed it really well so I could use it at the front of my canvas. Then, I used the paste to cover the front white part of the canvas, the staples, and even inside the wooden area I colored it in blue. And I created the texture using my palette knife by patting it onto the paste to create a wave-like texture. I did this on both canvases, and then with a paintbrush painted inside the wooden area. while the paste was still wet, I sprinkled some Mermaid glitter from Blue Fern Studios and some Blue Ice glitter, again from Blue Fern Studios. I shook it all around so I could get it on all the edges, inside and out. The same blue sprays I had used on the back and sprayed the inside of the shadow box to paint the canvas, and then I used a paintbrush to just spread the paint throughout the whole canvas inside. I let everything dry a little, and then while it was still damp, I sprinkled some Lucky embossing powder and then heat set it. The embossing powder gave it an emerald-like color onto the edges. Finally, before mounting everything, I used some gloss gel and sealed all the glitter and the embossing powder all over the frame. And then I used some cheesecloth and glued it to the center of the shadow box using the gloss gel too. The reason why I used the gel to seal the glitter is because I didn't want all the glitter to spread everywhere whenever I would pick up the project, and I thought this would be a great way to seal it together. Butterscotch and caramel colored alcohol inks to give the edges a little bit of a rusted color. I sprayed the alcohol ink and then used a little bit of water to spread the ink around. The Ocean Mermaid and the Seaside Mermaid from the Blue Fern Studio chipboard collection, and I embossed them with Blue Fern Studios embossing powder. First I used the Blue Ice for the tail and I heat embossed it. Then I used Azure for the top of the mermaid, the top of the head and the body, and then I heat embossed it. Then I created some lines with the medium and used peacock to add some more embellishment to the mermaid's tail to make it look more glittery, and then I heat embossed it. Finally, I used the Lucky embossing powder and colored the hair to make it green in shade. I really wanted to make the mermaids the focus of my canvases, so I added a lot of glittery ocean-like shades so they would be the most beautiful part of the canvas. I used the coral-like chipboard from the Seaside set and I embossed it in the Lucky embossing powder. I also took some real flat shells and painted them in gold paint. and while the paint was still wet, I drizzled some 14-karat embossing powder and heat set it. Once I had all the embellishments ready, I used some heavy gel to glue the shells to the cheesecloth, and then I glued the mermaid on top of the shell. I cut the coral chipboard in some places and placed it on different areas on the shadow box. Then I used some real starfish to embellish and glue them all with the thick gel. I also glued some real shells that had a little bit of a yellow tone in them. These shells I had collected on a recent beach trip, and I thought they were perfect for this set of canvases. I also glued some netting around the embellishments to make it look like it is part of the ocean. I used the same gold paint I used for the seashell, and I added a painted frame around the edges of the shadow box. I also added a few splashes of blue spray in some areas to blend it all in. I did glue another starfish on top of the netting on different areas so it would stick out more, and then with my finger just added a little bit of blue to blend it into the background. Finally, I used some soft gel and dipped it into some copper microbeads and added a little bit more texture around the canvases. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked our video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. For more videos like this one, press the link above. Bye!